Marvel Rivals Season 1 is finally here, and if you're looking for a new hero to play in this new season, then you've come to the best spot possible, because I'm going to be giving you my best to who you should be probably playing to quickly climb the ladder. And smash that like and subscribe button, or I'm telling Marvel to never drop new heroes for this game. But without further ado, let's dive straight in. Now, one of the first characters I highly encourage you to pick up for Season 1 is none other than Wolverine. Now, Wolverine was a very good character in Season 0, but after the changes for Season 1, he's even more insane. Now, his base health was increased from 300 to 350, which is already insane for a duelist character. However, his Undying Animal ability was nerfed from 50% to 40% damage reduction, which is honestly still a lot of damage mitigation. But a lot of you might be asking, why is he so strong? Why do you see all of these high-ranked players spamming this character? Well, Wolverine excels at isolating tanks and dealing high damage based on maximum HP, making him super lethal at dealing with any type of vanguard on the map, and he's really good at taking out the new duelist, Mr. Fantastic. His disruptive playstyle against double tank setups can easily warp and change the meta in higher elos. Now, if you find yourself facing a Wolverine in a match, then it's in your best interest to focus on bursting him down quickly to trigger his passive early and prevent a prolonged engagement. Now, the first strategist I highly encourage you to play if you're new to Marvel Rivals or if you want to get ahead of Season 1, that strategist is none other than Cloak and Dagger. Now, there were some changes to Cloak and Dagger in Season 1. First and foremost, the heal dome cooldown was reduced from 15 to 12 seconds, and the ultimate dash count was increased from 3 to 4. Now, Cloak and Dagger was already a top tier support. Sitting in my tier list for Season 0, she was placed at 8. Now, coming with Season 1, she still hovers around the same area. But regardless, the buffs that were given to her improve her healing uptime and mobility. With Mantis nerfed and newer supports like Invisible Woman lacking the same impact, Cloak and Dagger shines even bigger and brighter. Now, when it comes to Cloak and Dagger, there's something to keep in mind. You really need to avoid overcommitting after using her ultimate. You always want to keep an eye on enemy crowd control abilities. Another thing is that her dashes stack on top of each other. So while you're in a fight, try to stack 2 of your dashes on each other. This makes it so the healing and damage is doubled on it. Now, when it comes to our first Vanguard or tank character for Marvel Rivals, one of my key recommendations is Thor. But if you are a first-time Marvel Rivals player, he could be a little bit challenging to you. But regardless of that, Thor received some pretty good changes for Season 1. They gave him a minor HP buff of plus 25, and he now also gains crowd control immunity during his ultimate. If you don't know what crowd control is, it's any form of stun, root, sleep, anything like that. But why is he so strong? Thor's synergy with buffed characters like Captain America and Storm enhances team fights. The fact that he's immune to crowd control effects during his ultimate is insane. This elevates Thor to an even higher tier. Now, when it comes to actually playing Thor, here's some tips. You can use the fact that he's immune to crowd control abilities while he's in his ultimate to try to bait out crowd control abilities from the enemy opponents. Things like Winter Soldier's bionic hook ability, and even something as Doctor Strange's ultimate ability as well. Now let's circle back around to the duelist section. Now that character is none other than Punisher. Just like Cloak and Dagger, if you're new to Marvel Rivals, this character is extremely easy to use. Now in Season 0, Punisher was pretty good. He was picked all the way up to the top 500 ranks. In Season 1, he was actually given a buff. They increased his base damage and reduced his ability cooldowns. But why is he so strong? His high damage output and synergy with Racoon and Winter Soldier make him a formidable DPS choice. Now, something that a lot of Punishers make the mistake of is not sticking close to Racoon or Winter Soldier for increased survivability and maximum damage potential. That's all coming from the team up ability with Racoon, where they can get infinite ammo. And you always want to position yourself somewhere high up so you can always get maximum usage or maximum potential out of your turret. Now, coming from Punisher, we dive straight into Racoon as our next strategist. Now, he is a very straightforward strategist to use. Now, even if you're just picking up Marvel Rivals for the first time, he's very user-friendly, where he's a very easy character for beginners, and he can also perform at the higher ranks just as well. Now, not only that, he also received a change for Season 1. They increased his HP and reduced his cooldown on synergy abilities, as well as giving him a boost to his heal gun, which the number was originally 60 per second, it's now at 70. But why is he so strong? Buffs to Punisher and Winter Soldier enhances Rocket's synergy. With nerfs to certain dive characters like Psylocke and Black Panther, Rocket's viability has significantly improved. One tip for Racoon is to pair him with a Punisher or Winter Soldier for devastating synergy. You want to maintain distance from long range so you can do massive damage. Now, moving straight into our next Vanguard, we have Magneto, another hero that's relatively easy for newer players. But regardless, Magneto is still another one of those those heroes that got buffed for Season 1. They enhanced the synergy with Scarlet Witch and improved the barrier effectiveness, as well as there's a couple indirect buffs due to nerfs on characters like Doctor Strange and other vanguards. You might be asking, why is he so strong? Well, Magneto thrives in crowd control heavy metas, making him a prime tank against characters like Bucky and Wolverine. Now, when you're playing him, you want to time his barrier to disrupt enemy combos and protect vulnerable allies. You never just want to willy-nilly use your shield, because although it can absorb an infinite amount of damage, there is still a quote-unquote time limit that you have to manage. So you should always be mindful of what ultimates or abilities are up for the enemy team. Now, hopping back to one of our duelists, we have Moon Knight. Now, Moon Knight is extremely user-friendly, very easy for players who just downloaded Marvel Rivals, and he's insanely good at helping you climb elo. Now, he also receives some changes for Season 1, even though they're not directly noted, they are there. First and foremost, they reduced his ability cooldowns and improved his base stats. But why is he so strong? The buffs to his stats and synergy with Cloak and Dagger increase his versatility in support heavy comps. He also can do an insane amount of damage if really played properly. Not even necessarily played properly, but literally just spamming your primary fire. Now, one thing I do recommend when you're playing him is to always prioritize positioning and burst timing to capitalize on his enhanced burst potential. Now, another must-play duelist for Season 1 has definitely gotta be Storm. Storm, the weather goddess, received a major buff in Season 1. They buffed her overall damage and improved her synergy with Thor. But why is she so strong? Storm offers insane burst damage and crowd control ability, making her a key pick in both mid and late game fights. If you're familiar with me or the channel, then you know I love playing Storm, as I have tons of videos and guides on her. And again, another character that I definitely recommend if you like being both a person dealing damage and supporting the team at the same time. Now, if you are playing Storm, I definitely recommend you trying to get one of your teammates to swap to either Thor or Captain America, so you do get the team up ability. Even though it's not the biggest game changer, it still adds an element of extra damage. Now, another Vanguard that I definitely recommend you picking up for this new season is Captain America, because Captain America received some pretty good changes. First, they increased his shield durability and improved synergy abilities. Now, why is he so strong? Well, his enhanced defensive capabilities and improved synergies makes him a flexible tank in many compositions. He pairs very well with a whole bunch of other tanks and vanguards, so it's almost like, why shouldn't you pick him as an off tank now? Now, Captain America excels in many different things for his team by leading initiations or dives. One of the biggest things is that he's essentially a sponge. He soaks up a ton of damage. Because of that, most of the incoming fire from the enemy team is directed towards him, so you don't have to worry too much about the enemy shooting you. But besides that, he pairs up extremely well with Storm and Thor because they do offer the team up ability, and because of all the changes going on, it just feels like the comp in the game is getting a lot more well defined. And honestly, there's a ton of new innovations coming to this game, and I can't wait for what else they're going to be doing. But whether you're aiming to climb the ranks or compete at the highest level, mastering these key heroes and their strengths will give you a critical edge. Subscribe if you're new. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.